gives us an array list and also several values that we need to add. Now the problem is that one of those values is incorrect. So what we are asked to do is to remove this value. Usually this is pretty simple. You just do a linear search. And now the problem is that we are using dates, right? We're using this array list is of local date, and we need to find this incorrect date. So we are given a tip that we have to use the proper formatter. So let's go ahead and add this declaration here. And so we need to, first of all, declare the array. So let's do that. We are going to take it and then copy and paste. Okay. Now we are getting an error message because we don't have the proper library. So we're going to do Control-Shift-O, and then Eclipse will automatically add those libraries that we need. Okay, so the next step, we need to copy all this, and I'm going to copy it from somewhere else, but it's the exact same thing. There we go. And so we have all the dates. And once again, we are getting this error message. So Control-Shift-O, and there we go. We have the proper library now. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Well, instead of trying to delete this date, because we're going to be looping, it would be much better to have another array list that contains only the valid values. So let's go ahead and declare another array list, and we can copy this one. And we're going to call it Centennials 2. Okay? So now we need to display this Centennials. Let's go ahead and do it. System.out.println. All right, and now we are going to display before. And we now need to display the Centennials array list. Okay, so there we go. We display the Centennials array list. All right, so then we need to loop through all the elements of this Centennials array list. So we're going to use an enhanced for loop. So for, and this is going to be local date, and we're going to call it LDate from Centennials. Right? Okay, so we're going to loop in through all the elements of Centennial array list. Now we need to get the formatted string. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Well, we need to use the proper formatter. So let's go ahead and declare. We can declare it inside the for loop, but that's not very efficient because we only need to declare it once. So let's go ahead and create it. So it's going to be date time formatter, and we're going to call it formatter, all right, equals to date time formatter dot of pattern. And now you can use any pattern you like, but we're going to use just the standard pattern. So we're going to have 2 digits for month, 2 digits for day, and then 4 digits for year. Okay, so now we need to get the formatted string. So string, date string, is going to be equal to formatter dot format LDate. Okay, so now we are retrieving the current value of the element, right? LDate, that it comes from Centennials, and then we're formatting it to a string that is going to have this format, right? So 2 digits for month, and then slash, 2 digits for day slash and 4 digits for year. So now we need to compare the strings. And we use the compare to method to compare to the incorrect date. Okay. Now this compare to method can return either -1 or 1 or 0. If it returns 0, that means that it is exactly equal. If it is -1 or +1, that means that it's not equal, right? It could be greater or it can be less than current value. Now, we don't really care if it's later or greater. All we care is that it's not equal. So if it's not equal to 0, then we are going to add it to centennials to array list, right? So we are going to add the current L date. All right, perfect. Okay, so then after that, all we have to do is centennials will be equal to centennials 2. All right, and then we just go ahead and display it. So we are going to copy this code. And then we are going to call it after. All right, and now let's see if it works. We are going to execute. And there you go. Notice that in the after, the 1900 value is no longer there.